Welcome back to the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. In this video we're going to be taking an in-depth look at how to drive a blazingly fast lap at the Donington GP race circuit. For this lap we're using the Alfa Romeo 155 V6 90s DTM car and Assetto Corsa. This lap has been recorded by Julien Schein, the racing machine, and he's joining us in the analysis booth to go over this lap with us. And hopefully by the end of this video, regardless of the car and perhaps regardless of the simulator, you too will be able to do a pure Terminator lap of this circuit. Okay, so T1, you're going right into the pit exit there to line it up.
Yes, that's the idea. It's to line it up straight before I hit the brakes, and obviously use as much of the width of the track.
So what are you actually using as your brake marker for T1 there? What's your...
It's the end of the blue stripes painting on the road. You know.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so I've just paused it on where you're hitting the brakes. You literally, as soon as you see the blue paint on the floor, as you're slamming on the brakes there. I don't think that would be a legal entry into that corner in real life, but in Assetto Corsa I think we're okay there. I think that is allowed. You don't get any penalties for that, but if someone happened to have been exiting the pit, they probably would have had a DTM car in the door.
Yeah.
But also notice when you get on the brakes here, you're not applying 100% brake. Is that just because of the way you've got your pedal set up, or are you feeling out the brake before locking up?
No, actually, if you lock up a tire, if you lock up the brakes, it's gonna cost you so much in distance. So I'm really careful with the brakes with this car. If I lock the brake now, I'll just miss the apex.
Because you're pretty much on the limit of being able to hit it. So you're just getting it there, and you're squeezing the car into the corner, and you are riding on the curbs a little bit as well. But you're not getting over the edge of the curbs onto the grass. You're just on the edge on the inside, and you're letting the car run wide, but not onto the dirt at the side. You're just running onto the curbing.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the curbs on Donington, because if you go too much on the inside, there's a hole there, and it will throw the car off the line.
You come into that quite wide, and then here you just throw the car in. You're like a tractor driver that's avoiding a cow that's somehow wandered in front of them. You're just totally chucking the vehicle in. Are you feeling the force feedback to give you a, what are you basing that chucking it in on?
It's just on the feeling. It's important not to miss the apex, so yeah, maybe I threw the car a little bit too much, but I still made the apex, so that's fine.
Yeah, I guess it looks like what's happening is you've got on the downhill part of the track through the Craner curves, there's a bit of a lip before it goes into the full-on downhill ski slope, and you're throwing it in just before the track goes into its deeper decline. So you've still got the car's not ridden over the bump, and with these 90s DTM cars, they're kind of floaty, so you have to be aware of the track camber and shape to actually get it into the corner. You're throwing it in with the car still in your control, and then you're just hitting the curbing on the left-hand side, and then the car now is lined up on the left-hand side for the right-hander before you begin the uphill section of the track. It is probably worth saying though that a Formula car or a more tightly set up modern vehicle might not require the need to be chucked in so aggressively. I think it's probably one of the hardest corners on the track to get right.
Yeah, it is, and there's a huge compression. It's mostly a case of going too fast into the corner. You understeer. In this case, since there is a compression, which means you get more grip, you basically want to apply throttle before the apex, so you have a better exit of this turn because afterwards there's an uphill section, so you want to maximize the speed on the exit. Yeah, I don't know if there's any way not to go flat out.
You're lining yourself up into the follow-on corner. You're turning into the Schwant curve. Probably said that wrong. And you're not on the brakes yet. You're getting to the inside of the curbing. You've got the car right over the bumps, but you're not going too far over, so you're not hitting the edge of the bumps or going onto the dirt.
So my reference point here is after the curb. When I can't see the curb anymore, I start braking. But this one is really tricky because it's a late apex, and the road is a bit off camber. So you wanna be on the you wanna be braking on the middle of the road, but most importantly on a brake line, on a straight line, sorry. And as always, don't miss the apex.
I think what's really nice, and you can see this especially in the slow motion, when you're getting on the brakes and you've lined up for the corner there, you can see that you are doing these constant adjustments where the car's going into slight oversteer, slight understeer, and you're soaring away at the steering wheel. In slow motion, it looks all elegant and gentle and, like Space 2001 coming into dock, but when you're actually...
It is.
When you're driving this in real time, you're doing these really small, subtle adjustments to make sure the car is on the line and basically getting the right exact line through the corner. And as you can see there, you've exited perfectly onto the outside of the corner, and on that corner in particular, you can actually run all the way onto the concrete on the left, and it's reasonably grippy and reasonably safe.
On the inside, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, into Copus, you cut on the inside, but it's worth pointing out on this mod version of the Donington circuit, if you clip the curb too far on the right, the car just goes completely out of control, bouncy castle mode. So you do want to clip it, but you can't put the wheel over it too much. That's
it. If you see there on the right of the curb, there's a hole. You don't want to go in that hole.
Yeah, you don't want to go in the hole. The advice from the racing machine: don't go in the hole. It's like a well. If you go there on a rainy day, you might as well bring a bucket. You could scoop out a drink and have a sip by the time you get to the start-finish line. So you've got the second part of Copus coming up, and you've done the work on the entry of the first part of Copus there, and this second part all lines up and it all flows really nicely. I think it's a really satisfying corner when you actually get it right, because it does line up. If you get it wrong, you go too far wide because you've not cut enough of the inside, and then it just feels all wonky. And now you can see here in the video, it's a little bit slow, but you can, as you hit this, you're carrying the momentum, you're turning out of it, and you then run wide, but you're not bothering to run completely wide because there's no need for it. You're only running as wide as the car really requires you to.
It's all about compromises, really.
That's it.
On one hand, you can carry as much speed as you can in a corner and have a nice, wide and smooth line, or you could just choose for the other option, which is travel less distance. My reference is the bump on the road.
So you've come on the brakes here fully. And you are modulating the brake though, because it is a downhill section of the track through after Starky straight onto this chicane. You're modulating the brake a little bit, so you've gone on it a bit too heavy, come off it, gone back onto it, and you've actually, with the brake and on the load of the brake, that's put the car in, and you've tilted the car into the corner a little bit, and you can see you actually wobbling and steering the car to hit the inside of this corner, and you are absolutely flying through the chicane here, and you've literally just got the right wheel on the track. The left wheel, this is borderline illegal coming through this corner here. I don't know, it's
That's
debatable.
probably where I I gain so much time.
Yeah, slightly illegal. No, it's legal. 2 wheels on the track. Probably not good for the tyres, but you get the car through there, and that's a good example of, as you say, it's a corner where you can get a lot of time by nailing it and taking a little bit of liberty with the track cut.
Yes, so, and another tip for that chicane, you want to cut the first part, not the second part, because the second part is actually sand, and the sand will slow you up.
Okay, so you're hitting on the brakes. I think that's again the 100-meter board.
Yes.
Coming off the accelerator. Yeah, so obviously it's in slow motion, so it looks like you've got plenty of time. But it's basically when the 100-meter board's just about to go past your windscreen, and you're full on the brakes again, feeling out the limit. You're actually braking with the left-hand tyres on the curbing.
The curb, yes. That's it. Basically, what you want to do for those 2 hairpins is you wanna brake in a straight line as deep as possible into the corner, and well, actually you gotta brake the car, almost stop the car, make it turn, and then flat out of the corner.
See, and you do notice when racing on this track with that corner in particular, a lot of drivers here power out of the corner with too much steering angle and end up spinning. But because of the way you've took the corner there, and you've got the braking off, and you've got the car mostly lined up, you can get on the throttle with it. And you did a little bit of counter steering, a little bit of steering with your foot was getting a bit brick-like on the accelerator, but the car's straightened up, so it's not too much to deal with. And especially that's with these 90s DTM cars, they've got enough power relative to their grip to really kick the back out. So yeah, it's really nice, really nicely smoothly taken corner there. So, because the track is so wonky here, it's a really awkward brake point to actually hit.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a bit of road that goes off to the right. You don't want to take that turning. That's a wrong turning. Ignore the sat-nav.
Approximately on the middle of the curb.
Yeah, I've just paused it.
It's a bit empty.
Yeah, I've just paused it at the middle of the curb there, and it's at the middle point of that curbing on the right seems to be the brake point. And you've hit that, and you're actually lined up, almost pointing straight back. I can see you've got your steering wheel ready to turn left a little bit. So you're again braking straight to make sure you get the speed off. And the track here is undulating, it's slightly cambered, and you're on the brakes, and you've turned a little bit, adjusted it. You've counter-steered that adjustment. The back of the car a little bit squirrely. Godard is the corner name. And you're coming into you are, and this is the other thing, you are constant, and this is with a 90 DTM car, but you get this with other cars that are a little bit floaty. You've got that constant adjustment going on, and so as you come through the midpoint of this corner, you're turning. There you go. You turn much more aggressively once you've essentially come off the brake, and you bleed off the brake. You've then got the full steering lock once you come off the brake, and obviously the car's loaded up and ready, and you're already getting on the throttle even before the midpoint in that corner, and balancing it out.
Yes, it's exactly the same technique as the corner we did before. Brake in a straight line, turn the car on itself, and then flat out on the exit. But yeah, you were right. As soon as I come off the brakes, I turned the steering wheel really aggressively to make the car turn, and then I step on the throttle to put weight on the back tires, gain grip on them.
You especially notice with that corner, I think there's that temptation to power out a bit early, and because of it's such a low speed corner and you do have that steering angle, you really have to balance the accelerator out of that corner, otherwise the back of the car is going to go flying and you're counter steering and you're losing a lot of speed. It is fun though, powering out of that corner and letting your force feedback drive the car out a bit, but you can see you did a really good job of running wide. You didn't go completely wide, well, you didn't use the full width of the track. Again, it's probably not needed, and the edge of the track there is very slippy if you put the wheels off it, so you go wide enough. You get on the power nice and smooth. I think you were quite progressive with the throttle out of it, and then you're lined up for the start-finish line to have the celebration underneath the Donington clock.
Yeah.
Let's see. You look at the clock, and you can see what time you've got, and you can see if it's tea time or if it's dinner time. You can question your life choices, and then after the
All
clock,
I've seen is world record.
well, yeah, that's it. Every single lap you do, it just says world record. Every single lap. It's a hard life being the racing machine.
It is very tough, man.
Thank you for watching this video and this episode of How to Drive Fast at Donington GP. You may have noticed some of the editing and some of the audio was a little bit funky. This was literally our first time setting this up, and we had to do some Twitch streaming to get things synced up, and we really didn't have a format sorted out until afterwards in editing. So hopefully next episode will be a little bit smoother, but regardless, I hope you did enjoy it. Let us know if this is something you're interested in. If you'd like to see more of it, drop it in the comments. If you did enjoy this and you also want to see more of it, don't forget to click the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to make a nice cup of tea. I shall see you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching and goodbye everybody.